I think by now we all know what happened here. That green candle was the market's reaction when a tweet went out from the SEC that the ETFs had been approved, and immediately the tweet was taken down and they quote unquote regained access to their X account, and it was basically supposedly fake news. They hadn't been approved, and this was the reaction to that, this big red candle. Now, of course, a lot of people were liquidated because of that movement there, which is why it wicked all the way down to 44.7 thousand and then back up again to basically where it would have been had there been no news. It was, gently cooling off. Now, the excuse that we were given by the SEC was that their account was hacked, not the SEC itself, but the SEC's Twitter account or X account. And the internet isn't buying it, and I'm not buying it either. In fact, I think that they have pretty much approved Bitcoin ETFs, and as many people have pointed out, there are several pieces of evidence. Now, let's look at the tweet that has now been taken down. Of course, the internet is persistent forever, so anything you put on there will be there forever, and there's nothing you can do about it pretty much. There are millions of copies, and people have taken screenshots. People have Wayback Machine, etc. So today, the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for the listing on all registered national securities exchanges. The approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection. And of course, it's got Gary Gensler's little piece there. Now, this commenter actually makes a really, really good point. Look at that. I wonder if this is real. The SEC doesn't tend to make announcements on Twitter and then people laugh at it and then, there's comments, etc. But that's a great point, actually. Not that it's not real, but they don't tend to make announcements on Twitter, right? What they tend to do is call a press conference. After the press conference, they'll tweet. So if you ask me, there's been a scheduling error, right? Because the SEC is a government body, right? And things like this, they don't have someone then writing the X post after the fact, right? They have to have everything prepared. There's a department that's responsible for social media. Someone would have sat down and written out this particular tweet. They would have had it checked by legal and compliance and the PR department to make sure that all the words are correct, that there aren't any spelling errors or inaccuracies. It's not actual Gary Gensler that's typing this, obviously. There's an employee somewhere who's in charge of their X posts, right? They have everything checked and then it goes out, right? I think with the exception of maybe Donald Trump, none of these people write their own tweets. So this tweet was supposed to go out, but just not as early as it did. It was supposed to happen after the press conference. So unfortunately, that went out early and they had to pull it. And that caused what we saw on the markets, causing lots of people to lose millions and millions of dollars. Like I always warn, don't use leverage. It's really, really volatile times, especially now. Normally, Bitcoin is relatively safe to use leverage on, but these times that we're in, very hard. Another reason why I believe that the ETFs have been approved is that we've had a couple of CEOs of, related parties, interested parties, come out and give interviews and basically said too much. You know how you can be excited and just, I want to be the first one, to say something or, to not give you the news, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We've had a couple of those. Someone said that, all the fees were out and they were ready to list on Thursdays. How do you list on Thursdays if you don't get approved first? It means it only leaves today, the 10th, for approval. And basically what's happened is, the timing was wrong. Someone's messed up and let the cat out of the bag early. But, I think it's gone too far now to pull back. There's probably going to be investigations. In my personal opinion, this is as good as approved. It's unfortunate that some people lost so much money in the liquidations. Or maybe that was planned. Maybe that was something that was executed on purpose just to shake out some of these hands before the big money came in. You know what I mean? Or perhaps people wanted to buy last minute, I don't know. That's conspiracy, but I won't put it past them at this point. So congratulations, everyone. We're just basically waiting for a moonshot today, right? So I'm going to make a cup of coffee, sit back and watch the charts and do one of my YouTube shorts when it does happen. So not financial advice, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.